want to start off again with welcoming the audience to Living with Purpose, another episode where you get to listen to awesome people talking about how they are showing up with purpose in both their lives, in all aspects of their lives, actually, and not just in the workforce. Again, purpose is this renewable source of energy that continues to drive us forward. My guest today is Liz Villani. I met Liz at a event in Seattle that she was visiting with a UK delegation. And she talked about values and bringing values and showing up with values at work. And her whole thesis, the name of a company that she's founded is Be Yourself at Work. I was just so fascinated with the work that she's doing, and that there is somebody who is actually getting people to show up with authenticity. And more importantly, she works on getting you to discover your authenticity and your values, and then how you show up. So I am delighted to welcome Liz.
Oh, thank you. It's fantastic it was amazing to meet you. And now to explore purpose and being you and making your difference. So thank you for having me on your wonderful podcast.
Thank you. So let's start off and talk about your one golden nugget, a piece of wisdom that you have collected on your journey.
It's very simple. Know who you are. Most of us don't do that. We just get on with our lives. Things happen to us. And we label ourselves and determine who we are on different things. You're not your upbringing. You're not your culture. You're not your self-doubt. You're not your skin color. You're not your family or lack of family. You're not who you are in terms of where you are from. You are a unique person. So know who you are, know your values, know your I am, and then amplify being you. See your work as an opportunity to be yourself and make a difference, and really amplify your natural self because you're here to be yourself.
Such a wonderful piece of advice, right? That all of us are actually trying to show up in different ways in different places.
Completely.
And we are all in some ways trying to be chameleons.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. You may choose to dress in different ways for different occasions. But if you show up in your authentic self, be yourself, which I think is just such a fantastic piece of advice. So thank you very much. So let's talk a little bit about purpose and how you use it to show up in life and inspire others. So tell me a little bit about why is purpose so important to you?
Oh, it's so important. And I think I love the work that you're doing because people lose sight of purpose. And I firmly believe, having done this work for over a decade now, that the true root of purpose has to be experiencing who you are and being you, but then making your difference as well. So we're all so unique. We're all so different that if we pretend to be somebody else and just get lost in the humdrum of chasing happiness, chasing money, chasing reward, and relying on other people for our confidence and our self-esteem, we've almost wasted this opportunity to be unique. When we think about purpose, thinking about who you are, what is it that you are that is different to other people? What makes you unique? And use that to craft and live your purpose, live your life, your work purposefully, and make a difference. Losing that self-consciousness. Stop worrying about what people think about you all the time, and really define your purpose because of who you are.
Well, this is such awesome advice, right? I mean, yes, stop chasing happiness. Because Carl Jung said this, stop chasing happiness, because you cannot understand happiness without a measure of sadness. Otherwise, the word happy would lose its meaning completely. So I think what you're talking about is that it is not about happiness, but it is about fulfillment. It is about contentment. It is about meaning. So let's talk a little bit about, give us an example of how you are using purpose as a renewable source of energy for yourself, especially to keep you moving through tough times and also through good times.
Well, yeah, I mean, as an entrepreneur on a mission to change the world and the way that we all live, I need resilience. Nothing wrong with making tables and chairs and selling those to the world. But for me, I'm driven, some of my core values are around, really sort of matriarchal change and energy and love and bringing joy and making a difference. And so being able to rely on the fact that my purpose is really here to help you to know who you are and then encourage you to live being you and use work as your window, if you like, of experience and opportunity to make a difference. I have to remind myself of doing that. Getting on a plane to Seattle, flying on my own to San Francisco. I've been all over the world. We've got teams all over the world now helping people. That inner voice that we have can be so negative, can be so doubting, can be so challenging. And sometimes we have to dig, I have to dig, we all have to dig really deep and sometimes stare into the difficult caverns of being ourselves as well, and our fears and our regrets and our worries. But cultivating for me a sense of self and then aligning that with courage and knowing where I'm going and why. You know this in your wonderful work, why I'm here and why I'm doing this. There's not very much that the world can't now throw at me. I feel strong because I've got that sense of self, that sense of direction and making a difference. So you just got to never give up on you. And I've learned as well to train myself to talk to myself positively. I work with so many people. I know so many people. I'm very privileged to have the conversations about the inner workings of people's worlds, the inner workings of you. The self-deprecation and the way we talk to ourselves is really so shocking. One of our surveys that we did a few years ago showed that 70% of men never have a positive conversation with themselves. Wow. So, cultivating and start by listening to how you speak to yourself internally. Understand who you are, work with brilliant people like you to kind of understand what your purpose is, what's your direction, why are you here? And then it's a daily challenge. So dig in, use who you are consciously, talk to yourself positively, muster the courage you have to really live this life and go and make a difference.
So you work with all sorts of people, CEOs of companies, executives. You kind of help them create this little chart.
Oh, you've got your IM card there. There you go.
Yeah, see, and then you kind of take them through it. Give us listeners a sense of somebody that has actually benefited from what you have done and what that benefit has been, and how has that excited their ability to show up with authenticity, with values and purpose.
Gosh, I mean, how long have we got? I guess I should start by saying most people don't know who they are. We know that 25% of people only would say, yes, I know me. Understanding who you are is a fundamental start. And if I think about people that have experienced what we do, which is just with I Am, it's just describing what makes you you, what makes you unique. What they've gone on to do is worry much less about what people think about them. They're less than a third likely to compare themselves to other people and actually put themselves down on the inside negatively. And when you, I'm not going to name names here of clients but when you let go of that self-conscious kind of fear of being you and feeling like everybody's judging you and feeling like an imposter, and then really redefining with your I Am, what makes you you? What are your values? And then putting that into the center of everything you do, your relationships, your work, your family, everything transforms. You suddenly are free. You're here to be free, to go and make choices and make a difference. People have gone on to do amazing things. They've conquered fears in pitches. I've seen clients literally go from self-doubt and worrying and the verge of bankruptcy from an entrepreneur perspective and then realized who they are, and their sense of self has given them conviction to go and pitch amazing pitches, get funding, grow their business because of who they are, not just because of what they've done or their education or the people they know, but because of them, because of themselves.
So this has been such an awesome conversation. I know we can continue to go on for a very long time. And at some point, I will also come up with long format podcasts where we can actually dive deeper. But for now, this has been just so awesome. Again, this whole figuring out your I am and being yourself in everything that you do is, I think, the most important message. So, Liz, thank you so very much. Again, I want to kind of remind our listeners, finding one's purpose is a lifelong journey. It evolves with life circumstances and priorities. So it's not something that is set in stone. But I think this work, what it does is that it allows you to focus on yourself and recognize the importance that you are in the way you need to show up. So remember, individuals are not a problem to be solved. They're a mystery to be embraced. So thank you very much. Join us at our website, www.purpose-mindset.org, and share with us how you are showing up with purpose in life. So again, Living with Purpose, Liz Villani, thank you so much.
Does your company have a story to tell about purpose? Become a part of our book series. Visit onegoldennugget.com/living with purpose